about you. So I'm gonna start by asking you, where were you born?
In Athens.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Where in Athens do you recall? Can you tell me a little bit about your
Yes.
home?
Uh, I was born in my home on Chase Street.
Okay. Your current home on Chase Street, where you're
Right.
at? Okay, all right.
Mm-hmm.
And tell me about your parents.
My daddy cooked at a restaurant, and my mama was a housewife.
Okay. And what were their names?
Janie and Burl Billups.
They were builders.
Right.
Okay. Do you know anything about your grandparents?
No,
Okay.
I don't know anything about them.
All right. Can you tell me some things about what it was like to grow up on Billard Street?
No, Chase Street.
Chase Street, I'm sorry. Right.
Well, that's where I was born and that's where I lived.
Okay. Did you have sisters and brothers?
I had one sister,
Uh-huh.
but she's deceased.
Okay. All right. And what was life like back then?
Well, back then, it was, white people had just about taken over our neighborhood.
Back then?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And where did you go to school?
Well, in the beginning, I went to a private school called Knox Institute.
So you went to Knox.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you tell me anything about Knox? What you remember about Knox?
Knox was a private school. You had to pay to go there. And I went there through the 7th grade. And then the public schools opened up and I had to go to them after Knox closed up.
Okay. What public school did you originally go to?
Went to Athens High and Industrial.
Down on Reese Street at that time?
Right.
Okay. Can you tell me anything about that school and what it was like?
Well, I got a good beginning going to Knox, so when I went to Athens High, I had pretty good education.
Okay. Can you tell me anything particular about Knox that you recall? Some memories?
Yes, Knox had a place for students who lived in the surrounding counties to come and stay in the dormitory.
Okay.
And the men had a house that they stayed in to do carpentry work.
Okay. What about the teachers? Do you recall some of them and your impressions of the teachers and students of that time?
Yeah, I remember Miss Gilbert, and she was a very mean-looking person. And I remember Miss Brown. She was a good teacher, and she wanted some of my kinfolks to send me off to college. But I couldn't go because my mama was getting old and she was sick. So I did the best I could.
Okay. And so you went to Athens High and Industrial.
Right.
And I believe back then, did it go to the 11th grade?
Yes.
Right, okay. So you finished there.
And Knox went to the 12th grade.
Knox went to the 12th. Okay, all right. And they were in the same area, right? They were close together, was Knox?
They were near each other.
That's what I mean. Okay. Can you tell me about that area back then? I heard folks talk about the Knox and Athens High and Industrial, and I think there was an elementary school there too. A gym and all of that. Can you tell me about those things?
Yeah, and they had a dormitory for people that lived in the surrounding counties could come and stay. And they had a dormitory for the men who wanted to come and learn the carpentry.
Okay, all right. And what about your first jobs? Can you tell me anything about your first job?
My first job? Oh, let me see. My first job, I worked No, I worked at the library. That's my second job.
Okay.
First job, I worked at a dress shop.
A dress shop.
Right.
And where was that?
That was on Clayton Street.
Downtown.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the name of the shop? Do you recall?
Smart and thrifty.
All right. Smart and
Thrifty.
okay. And did you start that job after you finished high school or before?
Oh, after.
After.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Okay. You didn't do any type of work before you finished high school?
No.
And how long did you work at the dress shop?
Well, I worked there a number of years
Mhm.
before I worked at the library.
Okay.
Mhm.
What was the shop like? What was downtown like back then?
Well,
Can you describe
The
it?
shop had nice looking clothes that were cheaper than the main stores.
Okay.
And I could wait on the colored people, but I couldn't wait on the white people.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what was that like? What did you think about that?
Well, the white people used to ask me how they looked when they tried on something.
So you still got an opportunity to interact with the white folks who came in the store then?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
a lot of them would ask me how did they look when they tried on some clothes.
Mm-hmm. And so back then, of course, you just mentioned it was like what they call Jim Crows, right? Jim Crow area. And so you were to only work with the black folks.
Mhm.
Okay. And were there a lot of black folks coming in the store at that time? Did you have a lot of black
Well, it
folks?
was more white.
More white?
Mhm.
Okay.
And they had one little cubby hole where you'd have to carry the black folks in there if they wanted to try on something.
Okay.
Mm.
You said it had a cubby hole. Can you
Yeah.
tell me what
It
describe
was
that?
just a little room where you go in
Okay.
when you want to try on some clothes.
Okay.
Mhm.
And that was for the black folks.
Uh-huh,
Okay.
yeah,
And from there you went to the library.
right.
And when you started with the library, where were you located? Where was it located?
Well, I was located first in Dr. Green's building.
That's where you started
Yeah,
at?
it was
Okay.
called Dunbar.
So that's where Dunbar was?
Uh-huh,
Okay. I heard of Dunbar.
yeah.
It was on the second floor or the first floor?
It was on the second floor.
Okay. Okay. And so, how many people was working at the library back then?
Oh, they mostly all white.
Mostly were all white?
Mhm.
In the Dunbar as well?
No,
Oh, okay.
when they finished building the Athens Regional, they combined the two libraries, and that's when I went to the Athens Regional.
Okay. And tell me more about Dunbar and the neighborhood and the people who came there to use
Well,
the
Dunbar,
library.
mostly black children came there,
Okay.
and they, if the blacks needed some information, they'd let them go in the basement of the Athens Regional.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Okay. And so the Athens Regional, the basement was where the black folks went? If they needed
Well,
something?
they'd carry you down there if you wanted something special.
Okay. All right. And at the time when you were at Dunbar, what was downstairs? Was Dr. Green's office there or something else?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Tell me about your dad, a little bit more about your dad.
My dad,
John Phillip.
Burl Phillips,
Okay.
he was a cook.
A cook.
Mhm.
Okay. And what did he cook?
He had a restaurant. He worked at.
Oh, he ran a restaurant.
Mhm.
Okay. What was the name of it?
I
Do you
don't
remember?
remember what the name of it was,
Mhm.
but all I know is that he cooked there.
He-
And people would come in there that didn't have any money. They didn't leave hungry.
Oh, really? Okay.
No.
Okay. All right. And you say your mom was a stay-home mom?
No, she had a little place where she stayed. Did you know Mrs. Matthews? She lived on the corner of Chase and Hancock.
Okay.
And she worked in a little, kind of little store there.
There was a store and she worked there, okay,
Mhm.
okay. And your sister, did you tell me her name?
Katie,
Katie,
Katie Phillips.
okay. Did she grow up around here too? Did she?
Oh, yes.
Okay. What did she do?
Well, she got a chance to go off to school, go off to college at Morris Brown,
Okay.
and she learned how to type and learn business.
Okay. Okay.
But she has passed now.
Mm-hmm. So where did she work when she
She
came
worked
back
in
from
the
college?
insurance office.
Which insurance office was it?
Well, she worked at both of them. She worked at the Afro and she worked at the Atlanta Life too.
Okay. Right. Now tell me about your husband and your children.
Well, my husband was named A.C. Murray, but he's passed now.
Mm-hmm.
And we lived together 70-something years.
70-something years.
Mhm.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And tell me some more about him. How did y'all meet?
Oh, he was an insurance man.
Huh.
And somebody told him they had somebody that they wanted him to meet.
All right.
And I was working at the dress shop. So he came by and he said, all of us in there look like white people. So he was afraid to stay out. But he did come back by the insurance
You
office.
had to be careful, huh?
Yes, and my sister introduced him to me.
Okay. All right. And so from there, you dated and then,
Yes,
okay, and then got married.
got married.
Okay.
Married 70-something years.
All right. Wow. And how many children?
Oh, I had one daughter and 3 sons.
Okay. Tell me about them.
Well, that's my daughter.
That's your
there.
daughter, okay.
And I had,
Janice?
yeah, and I had 3 sons. One was named Walter, but they called him Bubba.
Bubba.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Okay.
And one was called Burl Phillips.
Okay.
He was named after my daddy.
Uh-huh.
And the other one was named A.C. Jr.
Okay.
Mhm.
So tell me some more about them.
Well, they all grew up pretty well. Burl went to school, went off to school, and Bill went off, we called him Bill, his name was Burl
Right.
Phillips,
Uh-huh.
and he went off to school,
Right.
and he went to, I think it was Payne. wasn't
Right,
it?
right. I know Burr.
Yeah.
He was at Payne when I was there. I went to Payne.
Oh,
Yeah,
is
yeah,
that
right, yeah.
Yeah, and he stayed there a little while, but he had all kind of equipment. Somebody took his equipment,
Mhm.
and so he left and came back home.
Okay.
Yeah, and he finally got a job on the radio announcing.
I remember he was a big time radio person.
Right?
Yeah.
He announced on the radio
I
at
think it
night.
was Fox 97 in Gainesville. Yeah.
No, he was at WRFC,
Start here. Okay. Okay.
and he'd go home at 11 o'clock
Uh-huh.
and work until 7 the next morning.
Okay. Okay. And your other sons?
Well, A.C. Jr.,
Okay.
he was my special child.
Okay.
But he worked at and he still does, worked at the Athens Regional. So,
Okay. Okay. Work at the hospital? Okay. All right.
he was a maintenance man.
Mm-hmm. So what are some of your impressions of the way things are now compared to the way they were when you was growing up?
Oh, they altogether different.
Tell me about it.
White people have taken over our neighborhood.
Mm.
Yeah.
So tell me about the neighborhood. How was it back then? It was
Well,
like,
back then, black people lived there
who were some of the black folks?
until they put the what was that then?
About the housing.
Housing.
project, it's next.
The housing over there.
Okay. 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 So you got Broad Acres?
No,
He's with the Atlas Housing Authority, but I don't know what it's called.
Oh, okay. It's like the Scout
Like
unit.
that,
Yeah.
disabled people that live
Oh,
there.
okay. Okay.
They're kind of quiet. They don't look at
Okay.
noise.
Okay.
at first it was all white in there, but finally they moved some blacks in there.
What advice do you have for this generation?
Well, they ought to learn all they can, I know that. Of
Okay.
course, our world is different from what it used to be, you know.
Tell me some of the ways that the world is different.
Well, used to, if you worked in, I worked in a dress shop, and blacks, you couldn't wait on blacks, you had to wait on the whites.